Today I will make a worst to best about one American band from San Francisco of California that they are one of the pillars of the alternative metal of the 90s. Funk metal, alternative metal, call it how you want. And I'm speaking about Faith No More. Faith No More, they started in 1979. They are so old. But in these years, they had another name. They called themselves Starp Young Men. Afterwards, in 83, they changed the name to Faith No Man, and a little bit afterwards to Faith No More. Their two first albums, they were a little bit underrated and under the radar. They had another singer, the first singer of them, Chuck Mosley. He died in 2017, rest in peace, in the age of 57. But they became even more famous when Mike Patton from Mr. Bungle came to the band and became their vocalist and singer. In any case, these guys, they play a very, very special style of metal that combined so many different styles: jazz, rap, hip hop, call it heavy metal, doom metal, post punk, punk influences, thrash metal, death metal, pop, everything together. I think that maybe only System of a Down and maybe also Primus, there are two other bands that they, or Mr. Bankel, that we can combine these bands with the style of Faith No More. We can make a difference between the first period of them with the two first albums of Mosley and the other albums afterwards with Mike Patton, because they are like two different kind of bands. In any case, here I'm coming to make a worst to best, in my opinion. So let's start. They made only until now seven full-length albums. The six first of them, they were until 1998 that they disbanded. Afterwards, when they came back, they make a reunion. The reunion was in 2009, and they continued until 2015, and they make their comeback album, the seventh album of them. And afterwards, until today, they are in hiatus. So let's start. In the last place, in the seventh place, I will put their first album of them, the debut album of them, the first with Mosley in the vocals. We Care a Lot, and it came out in 1985. It's an okay album of alternative funk metal, let's say. But even in these days, Metallica, for example, and James Hetfield, they spoke about them. They came out with T-shirts with their logo. Okay, a funk alternative metal album. Then in the next place, I will put their second album, in the sixth place, their second full-length album, and the last with Mosley in the vocals. And I'm speaking about Introduce Yourself, came out in 1987. A little bit the same way like We Care a Lot. Afterwards, Mike Patton came to the band, and this was a new beginning. Now, in the next place, in the fifth place, for me comes this album, the last album of them for many years. It came out in 1997, and by the name Album of the Year. Album of the Year, for me, is a little bit less important from the three albums that they came before it. Okay, in my personal taste. Next place. Now, in the fourth place for me comes the seventh and last album of them until now, the album of the reunion, Sol Invictus, of 2015. Many people expected this album. This album is a little bit more post-punk influence, with influences of post-punk and some gothic influences. Okay, it's great, but not like the three great albums of them, in my opinion. And now, the three important albums of them, most favorite for me, and it's a little bit difficult to say which better, which less better between them. In any case, in the third place, for me, will come their fourth album of them, of 1992, Angel Dust. A masterpiece, a masterpiece, a masterpiece. We have here also thrash metal, we have here rap, we have here funk, everything, alternative, everything together. But even more, in the second place, their third album of them, the first with Mike Patton, The Real Thing of 1989. The Real Thing. Wow, this album, it was the changer, the big changer for them, with songs like Epic, for example. And here also, for me, there's a great thrash metal song, Surprise You Are Dead. Also, they made here a cover of War Pigs of Black Sabbath, and etc. and etc. But in the first place, for me, will come their fifth album of them, of 1995, King of a Day. King of a Day and Fool for a Lifetime. With this album, I started to listen to them. Yeah, I was a new metalhead in these years. I listened about Faith No More and the special style of their music, and I give a chance to this album. This was the first album that I listened from Faith No More, and changed my perspective about metal. Here we have jazz influences, pop influences, thrash metal influences, death metal influences, everything together with and this is very, very, very good, very good. So until now, this is my favorite album of them. This is about the alternative metallers, Faith No More. So from Israel, from Jerusalem, stay metal and stay heavy.